TWN Productions, masks, bus, props, custom work. Fast custom shirts, hundreds and hundreds of t-shirt designs, all reasonably priced. If you want some custom shirts, hit up fastcustomshirts.com.
Oh, hey everybody. Hey Tom, how you doing? Well, it's
Pretty
good to
good.
hear from you tonight. This is a surprise. And how'd you know? I just got back, Tom, from the movie theater. That's right. It's another sneak preview that I was invited to from the good folks over at Texas Horror Cult. If you're in the Dallas area, you might want to check out their Facebook page and give them a like, start to follow them. That way, you can get invited to stuff like this as well. I'll tell you, Tom, I'm seeing a lot of films through them that I probably wouldn't go pay to see myself. I definitely wouldn't have gone to pay to see this one. This is the new Valentine flick for horror folks. Maybe not really. Maybe the goth girls. It's for goth girls or just teenagers in general. This is Lisa Frankenstein. Have you heard of this, Tom?
I think I've seen somebody post something at some time, and I'm just like, ah, not for me. I'm sure all the 12-year-old girls watching this review, they as soon as we popped up, they did the same thing. Not for me, and clicked off the video.
Yeah, I'm sure. Never clicked on it, I would hope. But the thing is, Tom, it's rated PG-13, so I am hoping that the theaters do their job and don't allow any 12-year-old girls in there unless they're accompanied by a parent. Um,
Well, if we learned anything when Spider-Verse 2 came out, they won't even let 13-year-olds in without a parent or guardian. So,
good, good, because they don't need to be seeing that garbage. Uh, well, so we got there, we check in, and hey, they got a little something special for us, Tom. They got some little candies, Lisa Frankenstein heart candies, and they say things like "to die for," and let's see, "get a life." Get it? Because it's like a Frankenstein thing. Yeah, and here's the back of this. You know, I don't know how candy could be a collector's item because this shit'll go bad, right? I don't know. I guess it's meant to be eaten. But anyway, we take our seats. The movie starts, and in case you've never watched one of these reviews, this is spoiler heavy. Okay, I'm telling you all about the goddamn movie, all about it. It starts out, Tom, with an animated sequence of this guy, like in the colonial eras or
well,
something.
let's stop right there because you usually have a little something you like to say about your theater going experience and the crowd that you watch the movie with. How was that?
Uh, Nothing. It was all regular folk this time. That's why I didn't mention it, Tom. And we get there and there's hardly anybody there. And it's like, oh wow, nobody wanted to see this movie, but it filled up. The place filled up, and yeah. Um, well, I'll save that for a little later. Because I'm an asshole. I'm just like not a good person, Tom, and I'm reminded of that in some way every day. Anyway, so this starts out with an animated sequence about this Victorian guy, and he's a piano player, and he meets this lady, and she like, hey, I love you, and blah blah blah, and then she takes off with a guitar player, and he's all sad, and they show him walking away, and then it scene changes into a gravestone. He's got a big gravestone, and he's in some abandoned cemetery called Bachelor's Something Cemetery. And our main character in this movie, she's one of those quirky girls. She's supposed to be a nerdy girl, but you can tell, like, hey, this girl's attractive, when she does her little transformation, from the fucking ugly duckling into the swan. It's not going to be no surprise, right? Anyway, she's there reading poetry, and she likes to read by this guy's tombstone. She's whatever. She goes home. We're introduced to her family. Turns out this girl's mom was killed by an axe murderer at some point. So her dad married, and the lady he remarried is an uppity type, and she's got a daughter, her new stepsister, that is the cheerleader, the head cheerleader, Tom. You know, so but the thing with this is, like, in all these movies, those cheerleaders are, they're real bitches. They're like the uppity type, they were like the preppies and all those 80 movies. In this one, she's supportive, she likes her sister. She wants the best for her. So that's, hey, wait a minute, they're doing something a little different here. Anyway, she goes to a party with her sister and she takes a drink of something. It's got acid in it. She has an acid trip, has a dream. And during the night, there's a freak thunderstorm, Tom. Some green lightning starts coming out, and it hits the tombstone. Yeah. So it's not like a Frankenstein movie, The guy comes back from the grave, but he's just
You're
more a zombie.
talking about the tombstone of the writer she sits by?
Or the piano player, yeah.
The pianist.
Yeah, so he comes back from the dead, and he finds her because she left like a little rosary on his grave that belonged to her mom. And she's scared of him, but then, like, hey, wait a minute, we'll see. He's trying to communicate with her, so she washes him up and tries to find clothes for him. And we got another 80s trope that they do where, it's just a series of seeing him in ridiculous outfits. He's,
All right, hold on. How old is this pianist at time of death?
I'm thinking he's in his 20s or something, maybe 25. She is supposed to be a high school student, and I'm thinking maybe she's in her senior year, so 16, 17. Yeah, we'll say 17, which is still not old enough for this 25-year-old guy, but he's dead. So
That's why I asked it, time of death.
Yeah, I don't think those things apply to the dead. I don't know.
Well, you did also call this girl attractive earlier, so.
Well, because the actress is like fucking probably 32 or something. Anyway, there's the stepmom, she's a real bitch, and the zombie guy, he comes up behind her, and he's also missing a hand, I gotta say, so he can't play the piano. He's missing an ear. He hits her with a sewing machine. She's dead. Hey, they cut off her ear and sew it onto him, and they put him in a tanning bed and turn it all the way to max, and it, like, I don't know, sticks her ear, and he can use her ear. They do that a few times, they get another hand for him or whatever. The nerdy girl, she's starting to wear goth clothing and all that, she's coming into her own, but she's also getting crazy. There's this guy in school that she wants to fuck, and we get a revelatory moment when she's just, hey, I'm gonna go give it to him. I don't want to die a virgin. We killed these people. The cops are coming for me. I'm gonna go fuck this guy. She gets there, and hey, her sister's fucking the dude already. Not good, but her sister did, well, yeah, I guess that was shitty of her sister to do, but otherwise her sister's pretty supportive person. Yeah, and that's the brunt of the movie. They're just finding parts for the guy, and she falls in love with him, but it all moves real quick. She's like, just like wants to be friends with him. Then she's like, hey, this other guy, he's dead now, so I guess I'll start fucking you, and hey, I love you, or whatever. And at the end, she's dead too, and they resurrect her in the tanning bed. And like you said at the beginning, this movie is not made for me. This is made for teenagers. It's a movie set in the 80s, and they really overdo the 80s thing, but they're doing it on purpose, which I thought was all right, because people like love the fucking 80s, but it wasn't all that, Tom. Like, some of the shit that we wore, some of the shit that other people wore that thought was cool, that was some goofball shit. And this shows it.
Like,
You,
what did you wear? Because I was wearing diapers in the 80s.
yeah. I was gonna, yeah, because like you, really, you were. I thought
I
you were.
was born in 1985.
I thought you went to go see like the first Avengers movie when you were like 7 or something. Yeah, real. I thought your sister like took you to see it, as like a treat, like you were a good boy and you're gonna Mr. Captain America man, But
Oh,
so
she took me to see the British Avengers movie with Emma Peels.
uh yeah, they've got a lot of 80s music through here. They've got what else? I don't know. Well, there's a scene where they pass by a guy, there's an old man and he's got like a kid trying to start a lawnmower, and the kid can't start it and he says, what are you, goddamn sissy? And I just started cracking up, because that's funny to me. That's what old men do, and I didn't take into consideration, Tom, that there was a very flamboyant type sitting next to me, and I felt bad about that, about laughing, for this, but they put it in there for me to laugh, right? That's why they had it. So when that guy died, I made sure to laugh at that too, to kind of balance things. Oh, yeah, he got his, didn't he? Uh, yeah. Well, the movie's not for me, but it's okay. It's not a bad movie. My wife, she enjoyed it. She said it took her a little while. She said like 30 minutes to get into it, but then she said she had a lot of fun with it. The movie, I don't know. It's not trying to be a good movie. It's just trying to get some laughs out of people. Would I recommend it to jaded folks like us? No, of course not. It's a movie for teenagers or for chicks. Uh, but if you've got a significant other that would like to see it, take them to see it, man. Let them have a good. It's not always about you, Tom. It's not always about you. It can't always be Godzilla and Spider-Man 6. Sometimes you got to go watch something for your significant other. Let them smile and let them laugh and let them have a happy Valentine's Day.
So if this wasn't free, would you have went to go see this with your significant other?
If she had said, "Hey, I want to go see this," then yeah, I would have.
Very white of you, Joe.
I mean, I wouldn't have brought it up to her, hey, here's this movie you might like. I fucking wouldn't do that. But if she brought it up to me, then yeah, let's go.
So, you've talked about the movie and what happened, but like, what's the actual plot to find out, like, why this guy came back from the dead or to get him back dead?
No, there's like none of that. There's no explanations. It's very rushed. This subplot they set up with an axe killer, I thought that was going to come back at the end of the movie, and they'll use that as like the way that they're going to get away with all these murders that they did. It's just, oh, let's blame it on this guy. He has a history of doing this. But no, they didn't bring that at all. This girl, yeah, she just, I don't know. I guess the moral to the story would be find somebody you like and accept them for who they are, Tom, and then fuck them and kill yourself, and everything will be okay. Y'all will live together because love does not die, Tom. You might die, but love doesn't.
So I was gonna ask how she died, so she killed herself.
Yeah, she killed herself. She got in the whatchamacallit, tanning bed. There you go. And set it on the highest setting, and she burned up.
And
But
got skin cancer and died very slowly over decades.
But in the last scene, he's sitting there on the park bench and she's laying across as he's reading poetry, and she's all wrapped up, kind of Bride of Frankenstein-ish, but not as cool looking. She's just kind of wrapped up like a burn victim, I guess. But not as cool looking as the dude from the fucking Hannibal Lecter movie. Definitely not as good as that, because that's some badass shit.
So I guess my biggest question, and you didn't mention this at all, which was weird, but what the fuck does this have to do with world-renowned artist Lisa Frank?
I don't know who Lisa Frank is.
You fucking prick.
But I'll say that it like I don't know if I mentioned it. It's a zombie movie. It's not a Frankenstein movie. Okay. So they should have called it Lisa Zombie or something, but I guess that doesn't have the ring to it, or it wouldn't have as much mass appeal.
Yeah, I'm very confused on why this is called Lisa Frankenstein. Was there like a lot of glitter and kind of feminine colors in the movie?
Yeah, it's bright. It's very bright. Yeah. There's what?
Teal and pink.
Teal and sparkles and stuff, you know.
Hey Lisa, do you know who Lisa Frank is?
Of course I do.
Who's Lisa Frank?
He's an artist like in the late 80s, early 90s that was like bright colors, tiger stripes, and I don't know, it's just a bunch of art stuff.
Was on a lot of folders.
Yes.
So not a real artist.
I mean, she's not a real artist. She made money.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Have drug issues and stuff?
possibly. It was the 90s.
Because not a real artist if she's not doing that, you know.
Like I said, she made money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure if you actually seen an image, you'd be like, oh, this shit. It's like like a really cute looking leopard with all colors that would pop out at you with like a rainbow and clouds and glitter puke all over. If you've seen an image, you'd know for sure. But yeah, I mean, if this is
Yeah, okay, so like on elementary girls' notebooks. Yeah.
yes,
Like maybe it's got that lenticular thing going for it. Okay.
yeah.
No,
So
I don't know.
does that have anything to do with this fucking movie? Why it would be called that?
No, it's just because
Time period, maybe.
I don't know. Like I said, there wasn't a big.
This is like, why did you name it this? Why is it set in the 80s if it's made for fucking children? They don't give a fuck or know who this bitch is.
No, see, that's the thing too. It's like, I mean, it's people that are my age that are fucking oblivious. They don't want to remember how shitty the 80s was. That think it's fucking great. You know, it's even like a couple of generations younger than me think like that was the greatest time for horror, you know, and it was just fucking slasher movie after slasher. You know, it wasn't that great. It wasn't that great a time. It was just like a proliferation of that shit. So we watched it all. I don't think like, you know, somebody that's 13 years of age gives a shit if something's set in the 80s. I think that's kind of a hindrance to them. You know, they might, oh yeah, I remember so and so remade that song or whatever. You know, it's like it sounds weird. You know, but I don't know, you know. But it was written by Diablo Cody, Tom, which is a name that yeah, I don't want to watch a movie by Diablo Cody because she used to write for Playboy, the articles, so you don't know anything about that. But she also wrote and I think won an Academy Award for Juno, if you've seen that one, Tom, about a young
The
woman,
Mexican Jew.
young girl who's now a boy, so that that gets pregnant, and her dad, J. Jonah Jerklin, is very supportive of her. And the thing with that movie is all the dialogue rang false. It was just, you know, she was always talking with 80s references, and it wasn't set in the 80s. But everything she said is like, oh, go Thundercats or something. Like, she wouldn't fucking know about any of that shit, you know? So she toned it down a bit. The writing on this is a lot better than that. That's what she does, I guess, is reference 80s stuff all the time. That's her shtick, you know. But yeah, like I said, take your significant other to go watch it if they want to.
All right, so you said that there was like something you were going to bring up at the end because you're a bad person or
That was
some
it.
shit.
Laughing at some little boy being called a
Oh,
sissy.
okay.
You know,
Oh, can you think of anything else? Kind of bummed out you didn't bring a container of popcorn with a little hole in it looking
like
back.
Dune popcorn container was there. You know, but I don't want to shell out money for that fleshlight looking thing. But I do want to see that movie. But my significant other doesn't want to go see that, so I guess I'll go by myself. You know, things aren't a two-way street all the time in relationships, Tom.
Nothing wrong with going to an empty movie theater and watching a movie with yourself. Sometimes it's preferred.
That's what I'll be doing. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, I won't be watching that one for free, but you folks can look forward to a spoiler heavy review of Dune sometime a few days after it releases, not before.
And if you stuck around this long and like whatever this is, every Monday we drop a podcast right here on this YouTube channel and boygob.com. We talk about the movies that we watch during the week, an issue of Amazing Spider-Man, and everybody's favorite segment, the top 5 list. So check that out and then head on over to fastcustomshirts.com. Hundreds and hundreds of t-shirt designs, reasonably priced. What are we looking at? Like $12 to $15 there, Joe?
Yeah.
Terrific. And after that, you can head on over to dwnproductions.net. Masks plus props, custom work. If you want a custom work, hit me up, and maybe I will custom work for you.
One thing Tom didn't mention is for those of you that don't have the attention span or don't want to sit through an hour or an hour and a half long podcast, Tom does cut it up. He is from Houston, where DJ Screw was from, so he chops and screws it up and puts out little segments. If you'd rather watch it that way, you have that option as well.
But yeah, I just kind of pick the segments all willy-nilly to what I think people would want to see, and no, it doesn't always work out, but listen to the whole fucking thing. You ain't got nothing better to do. So Joe, you got anything else to
Just one
say?
more quick review so I can write it off. The popcorn at AMC is pretty good, you know. I wish they'd have some butter there so they could, you know, layer the butter instead of you having to go over there to the section to do that shit yourself. But it is what it is. This is the second time we've been to AMC that their Diet Coke Diet Coke. They have Coke products, not Pepsi or anything, or Dr. Pepper. It didn't have any of the syrup, so it just tasted bitter as shit. So I had to dump that and get a regular Coke, you know. So there's my review on the snacks we got, because got that receipt, you see.
Everybody, you walk with Christ, and boy God.